you're like me and you're just getting started on Vinted, then this will literally be the perfect video for you. I recently had like a giant clear out of my whole cupboard, and I have like bags and bags full of clothes to just get rid of at really cheap prices. But before you start, here are a few things you need to know that I found out along the way. So Vinted and Depop are actually not the same at all, and I'm telling you this from my own experience. Depop, people sell things for a lot more, and they sell a lot more like vintage clothes. On Vinted, it's really different because people sell more like high street clothes, H&M, Zara, and it's a bit more like fast fashion clothes that they're selling, Shein, Urban Outfitters for example, and they sell it for really cheap. So Depop is more for sellers, people who are like thrifting vintage products, whereas Vinted is a lot more for buyers who just want to continue buying like lots of cheap clothes. A lot of things sell if they're like £5 or less. I basically opened my shop yesterday. I've already listed just around 20 items, not a lot, and in my first day I've already sold one thing. So I'll go through my shop and I'll tell you what I've sold and how I managed to sell that already. So this is one of my many bags. It's huge and I've got like so many different pieces of clothing. These are some Nike joggers that I've got, and again I am gonna have to be willing to give them away for like a fraction, like a tiny fraction of the price that I had actually bought them for if I want them to sell, and in this case I just want to get rid of everything. I've also got other like random tops and things like that. This Nike sweater which I bought, which has like a mylar flaw in it, but of course that will be partially why I'll be selling it for really cheap. And then I've got a bunch of other things which I'll quickly just show you. These are Zara jeans. This is a really cute cardigan, but it's just not something that I would wear anymore. And again, I've sold this for, actually I've not sold it yet, but I've listed it for £1.50. So as you can see, it's like a complete random collection of things that I've just put together, things that I no longer want that I'm just going to have to get rid of for quite cheap. And I'll show you how I did that, how I set my shop up, and how to go from there. So when it comes to listing an item, it's actually really easy. You've got to make sure you've got good quality pictures of them. And one thing that I recommend is taking the pictures in square, so that way when people come to click on it, like you can frame the photo a bit better, so you can get everything in that frame, as pictures are usually uploaded in square, if that makes sense. You've then got to put mandatory details such as the colour of it, where it's from, the size. Sometimes this can be a bit of a faff, but the more you do it, the quicker you kind of get out quickly. Just like, it's like autopilot, you go through and just fill in all of these details. After that, the helpful part when you go to set a price is that it kind of compares the market and it tells you roughly how much to sell things for. It will be a lot lower than you will expect, but again, that's something I've already covered. For example, for a Nike sweater, the average price it will recommend you to sell it for will be roughly like £3 to £3.50, maybe even £4 to £5, but that will be like a stretch for like second-hand Nike sweaters. Again, for like joggers, it will be like £4, £4.50, something like that. And even for Zara tops, £3 is like the average. So it is hard to get a lot out of one product, but usually, you know, when the more you sell, the more slowly bit by bit you'll be able to earn. Of course, when you first start off, you do have to verify your profile. That basically means that you're more like trusted by people who would want to buy your products, and it's quite quick to get people. Well, I mean, if your pictures are good quality and you've put enough detail, I usually write about a few sentences just to describe each product. I say how much I've worn it, why I'm selling it. Sometimes I'll literally just say I'm having a clear out and I no longer want it. And of course, if there's anything wrong with any product, make sure that you at least are honest about it and you take pictures and say, you know, don't try to deceive anybody, because that's just not going to reflect very well on you at all. I thought there was too much glare on my glasses, so I had to take that off. I didn't realise until I just watched the videos back. But anyway, back to creating a really good profile. Verify it. Once you've done that, at least you know that it's done and your profile is now official to be able to sell things. And after that, I feel like you can kind of sit back a little bit, because automatically people will start to view your stuff anyway. Like, you have to just sit back. Don't constantly be checking the views and the likes. You do have to just let it do its thing for a little bit, and then automatically you'll get notified when people favourite your items. And when they do, try and like slide into their DMs a little bit and be like, hey, are you interested, or do you have any questions, blah blah blah, just to initiate conversations, which could maybe result in a sale. So other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Listing things pretty straightforward, but the part which gets a little bit tricky is the postage and packaging part. So we don't actually set a PMP price, and again, I'm still new to this, I'm still figuring it out, but you do select shipping options which are the best for you. So for example, if you have a printer, you can print out the labels which are prepaid, the buyer pays for it, and you then print them out and you stick it on and you just send it to post office or wherever. If it's like in post, you go to like the in post office part and they then ship it off. But if you don't have a printer, then you do the digital QR code option, which is where you package the item, you take it to, for example, again, I'm just going to use the example of in post, you go to the locker, you scan it, and then you put it through, and then the courier person prints out a label and they do all that side for you. But you might get like less people who are willing to buy your product that way, just because it then has to go to their locker and it might be a bit more inconvenient for them, but that's just the options. Other than that, postage and packaging isn't too bad. There is also the Royal Mail option, and this is for if you're in the UK, by the way. It does differ for every country, of course. And for the Royal Mail, that's basically where you go to the post office yourself, and then you basically print it yourself, but make sure you keep the receipt because that's how they reimburse you for the PMP cost. So it is kind of up to the buyer, like whichever postage and packaging option they pick, but they pay for all of it in terms of postage. If I've said anything which is incorrect, please do correct me in the comments, because like I've said, I'm starting this shop new as well. But what I'll do is I'll show you the thing that I sold, and I'll tell you how much I sold it for. So this Polo Ralph Lauren jacket would have of course retailed for quite a lot, but I did list it for £4.50. That was like the average price for these kind of hoodies. And this one is actually really nice. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And what I'll do is I'll link my Vinted in my description box if any of you are interested anyway, because I'll have quite a few things like this coming in dribs and drabs, which I'll be posting on my shop. So this here is the hoodie. Again, it's just like a grey, it's a really comfy hoodie as well. I'm trying to sell it, but it's already sold, which is quite sad. But this is what it looks like. It's got the logo there. It is of course authentic. I would never sell anything which isn't. And these are the sleeves. And again, that was £4.50, so someone bought it pretty much a few hours after I'd uploaded it. So designer things do go for a bit more. My Nike's joggers and sweatshirts have been getting a bit more attention than other things, but again, that's because they are literally a bargain. I do have this other like Adidas sweatshirt which I put up for £4, which is cheap. Like, it is a genuine, you know, I've only worn it a few times and it's a genuine Adidas sweater, and people want it to be like less than £4, and £4 is like really cheap for it. But at the same time, if I'm going to go and buy the postage parcel for it, that's still an expenditure, so I can't sell it for like £2. So honestly, if you do want to get your hands on some really cheap but good quality and still like good condition clothes, then do check out my shop. I'll show you a few more things which I'm selling for literally like £2. Quite a lot of things range from £2 to £3. So this like kimono type cardigan here, so cute, and it's perfect for summer. It's really lovely, and this one was £2. This is the sleeve and it's got pockets as well. Most of my things are a size 8, which is like a UK small. Some things it will be listed if they're a 6, but most things are a size 8. Again, this is kind of like a crop top. I kind of wore it as like loungewear, but it's like ribbed, and this one was £2 as well, I believe. A lot of people are showing interest in this. It's already been favorited a good like 5 times already, and people are messaging me about it, but it's not been sold yet. So again, this has had a lot of interest, more than I had thought. So yeah, I'm going through like a ginormous pile of clothes, and I'm slowly listing everything on there because I want everything gone. And I have more bags in my car, but at the moment I'm going a bit crazy with all of this clothes. So honestly, I just want it gone, and I'll keep you guys updated on the journey with selling things on Vinted. If you have any questions, let me know down below and I'll try and like answer it. But again, I am still just starting out as well, and so far it is looking so good. So let's just see how it goes from here. Also, this is more so on Depop than on Vinted, but there are scammers out there and you're gonna have to be really careful. So try not to give out like any personal details, no emails, nothing, and always make transactions through the app, because that way there is nothing against you, because they have like, you're protected through the app in that way, because there's proof of postage and everything, and they can't like claim that you haven't posted it or whatever because it was done like officially through the platform. Also, before I forget to mention this part as well, in terms of fees, Depop takes a huge fee. They take like 10% plus like 3.3% plus like however many pence as well per transaction. From my knowledge, that's what I think. But with Vinted, I'm pretty sure that you keep 100% of however much you sell, and it's the buyer who pays this extra fee. They pay like the buyer protection fee, so we don't have to lose out any extra, if that makes sense. I hope that that answers that part as well, to do with like the fees and stuff. And if you're selling something but you want it boosted, you can pay to boost it. I think it's like I don't know actually, like 85p or something. But sometimes I think it's not worth it, because if I'm selling something for £1, why would I push it out for like another £1 for someone to buy it for £1? It doesn't really make sense. So I haven't used that feature just yet, but I'm trying to just like work on getting good pictures and writing a good description with like searchable words in there. So for example, these high-end shops are what people would search for, so I'd write like top shop jumper in the title. I'd write like Nike unisex grey hoodie, blah blah, all of that in the title so that it's like searchable. So I am quite literally drowning in clothes. I have also put up a bunch of jackets and things like that. So again, these things I've put up for so cheap, but people want it to be like even cheaper, which I don't understand how I can give like an actual like really good condition. I've probably only worn it a few times, like kind of like biker jacket for £2. I don't know how I can do that. I put it for $4.50. Even then, I think that's really cheap. So I'm just hoping that people come through and they see that that is quite reasonable and that they buy it. But yeah, that's basically all for this video, and I'll see you in my next one.